Hey.
Hello.
Hiya. Today we are talking about lubricants.
Lubrication. Firstly, it's completely normal to have your own lubrication.
Yes, and you can have a lot of it, like lots, like buckets, or none at all, and that's also completely normal.
Sometimes when you get turned on during foreplay, or even if you're just a little bit turned on anyway,
Yeah.
you start to get a little bit wet.
And wet we mean by a sort of clear, thick kind of residue that comes from the vagina, and that's great too. I mean, men have their own lubricant, which is pre-cum, but it's not the same in a vagina.
Sometimes during sex, you won't need extra lubrication because you'll already have your own.
But that can completely change from day to day, month to month, person to person. Even if one day you have lots of natural lube, another day you might be on your period or near to it and have none at all. Doesn't matter if you're horny or not, it decides for you.
It's always great to own lube as well for when you're not feeling so wet.
I use lube when I masturbate and I haven't had time to give myself foreplay and I just want to shove something in there. Messy as fuck though.
Yeah, and personally, I use lube quite a lot when there's sort of like foreplay involved, like a little bit of genital massage. I generally go for oil-based lubes because I don't use condoms during sex.
Oil does not mix with latex, as in condoms. It breaks it down. So if you are going to have protected sex, do not use oil-based lube. But if you're not using condoms, oil-based lube's amazing.
So good. And coconut oil especially because it's completely natural and it doesn't upset your pH balance in your vagina. It's also great for moisturiser.
I've heard almond oil is really good for lubricant. I know that coconut oil in the adult industry is used a lot for anal, especially, you know, you get like the block stuff. If you take out a block and pop it inside your bum ready for the anal scene, it's like perfect because it melts in your bum hole and it's constantly giving you this pleasure. Or you can use defragmented coconut oil, which is constantly liquid.
But there's also something else to watch out for with oil-based lubes. You don't want to use them with toys because it actually starts to break down the plastic.
Same with condoms, it's like the latex plastic thing.
Yeah.
They don't go and they start going all juicy. I've got like an anal toy that's gone all like weird and juicy and looks like it's melting but really slowly.
So when you're using condoms or toys, use water-based lubricants. And there are so many options for these.
Natural lube, organic lube, you can get lube that comes from a sex toy company. There are so many different types, but it's often worth finding the one that works for you. You can even get lube in your own pharmacy. They're so common now. Like Durex do a whole bunch, but depends on what works for you.
Quite often, some lubes might
Dry up.
Yeah, and some lubes, when you're using them, they do go quite dry and sticky.
Yeah.
And they can make sex more uncomfortable.
We found that with the water-based lubes is that they do go, dry.
So you have to use quite a lot of them.
But you can just add water or add a bit of spit and it gets all lubed up again.
Yeah, that's also true. You might find with some specific brands that they might sting a little bit.
Yeah.
Or upset your pH balance. So you do have to be wary about what you buy, and it is worth investing a little bit in lube, especially when it's not the oil-based lubes that can come naturally.
Other than that, if you've got a vagina that's not that sensitive, you can experiment with so many different types of lubes. There's like tingle lube, cooling lube, heating lube. There's like crazy amounts that can be really fun to experiment with.
And if you live in California or any other states in America where weed is legal, you can get marijuana lube and it's supposed to be amazing.
Yeah. So lube is great for anal.
Big dicks.
Necessary. Also, if you're on a first date or it's the first time fucking somebody and you're really nervous, nerves can stop you producing your own lubricant, so having a bottle of lube there makes it so much easier.
There's no stigma around lube. Like,
no.
When I was younger, I felt like a lot of people were like, nah, ew, lube, like that means there's something wrong with you.
Yeah,
but
or like guys are like really weird and they masturbate with lube, and if I was on a one night stand and a guy had a bottle of lube, I'd be like, yes mate, you are prepared. You understand vaginas, like that's cool.
It just makes sex so much more enjoyable. When I have sex with coconut oil, it's just like this whole new sensation because it's quite slightly like warming on the skin, and it's just super nice.
It's just nice. I remember giving like hand jobs with lube can make it just so much more fun and easier, especially if like, you know, there's a lot of foreskin or no foreskin at all if they're circumcised. Using lube's great.
It's so good.
But again, oil-based lube, because water-based lube does go dry, but just add spin.
Yeah.
This isn't the case all the time, but generally the more you spend on a lubricant, the better it is for you. Often not, the cheap ones can like irritate or sting, and they're just less durable and less usable really. Spend a little time doing some research, splash a little bit of money if you really think lube's necessary for you, because it's cool to be lubed.
It's very cool to be lubed.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our little chinwag on lubricants.
Make sure to subscribe, like, and comment on our videos.
We love our little comment community, and we will see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for watching.
Woo! I'm glad you enjoyed it and you've made it this far to the end.
Please support us on Patreon.
We earn no money from YouTube whatsoever. It might be $3 or $4 a month, if that, split between the both of us. So if you have any money at all, and if our channel has been useful for you at all, please pledge some cash to our Patreon.
Please support us.
Please, even just a few dollars or a few pounds would mean so much to us.
So much.
We earn no money from our YouTube channel, so it means that we can keep doing this in our free time to give you advice and extra pleasure.
More.